Welcome, I'll be reacting to Outlander, Season 2, Episode 4. This is not a market substitute, please support the original.
I thought if it was a boy, we could name him Lambert.
Lambert?
Yes, after my uncle.
No, not to disrespect your uncle, but it's a wee bit English. How about Dalhousie?
Dalhousie.
Hey, after Dalhousie Castle.
Although, Dal, that's not a bad nickname.
Quel ennui. Le résultat est tellement flagrant que je ne vois même pas l'intérêt de rester plus longtemps.
Claire, should you be drinking alcohol when you're pregnant? I don't know. Claire? Oh no! It's that fake poison that they were talking about earlier.
Claire!
But the baby! It might not kill her, but what about the baby?
You're right.
Lucius.
It's marshmallow leaf tea should counteract the effects.
And my bairn?
Baby should be fine. Jamie.
That had me
I
scared.
thought that we could have bribed one of the servants to put the cascara in my glass of wine. The way he was staring at me.
If it was Saint-Germain, I'll make him suck.
Just crossed a Scot, though.
A dinner here.
You have to tell him what's going on now. Claire.
Go on to take the measure of the prince and decide if he's a man worth staking his fortune and his life on. Now, Charles can be convincing when he has a mind to be. We need to stage the occasion to undercut Charles. Lead him to make a mistake in front of the Duke and expose himself for the delusional popinjay that he is.
It's a good plan.
Think I'm mistaken?
No, it's a good plan.
Come on, Claire.
It's not that.
You can do it.
I need to tell you something.
Yes.
Jack Randall is alive.
Please don't be too angry with Claire. She thought she was doing the right thing waiting.
This is wonderful news. But why do you wait so long to tell me? Thinking Black Jack Randall died and I missed it. Knowing I'd never look in his face and see the blood flow from his body.
Oh, Jamie, never change. He's so adorable.
You can't go back to Scotland.
No, I'm not foolish enough to give the hangman a second chance at me.
Is he gonna lure him to France?
Something to look forward to. And that is a gift.
I was not expecting this.
Thank you.
That was more of a connection than they've had in months. Look at that dress. Beautiful. Still with the 1940s edge to it. I like how a lot of her gowns she's designed to have this little part in the middle. If she's not careful, she's gonna start a trend. Imagine them coming across one of Claire's outfits in a museum and they're just like, it's so contemporary. That hood! I am all about this hood. Out of all of her outfits so far in season 2, if I was gonna take the time to cosplay one, this one would be it. I absolutely love it. The colors, the hood.
Did you sell bitter cascara to Saint-Germain?
Mm-hmm.
I've sold the cascara to only one person in the last months, a servant I didn't recognize. Could have been working for Monsieur le Comte, but I swear I didn't know it.
Maître,
Oui?
il nous observe.
Madonna, follow me.
I really like his shop assistant. I feel like we can trust her. She's pretty sharp.
The gendarme passed
Oh,
by
he's a
with
collector.
prying eyes. The king is not enamored of the mystical art. We must be wary not to invoke his ire.
She's a time traveler, right? She could go through the stones and visit dinosaurs. Claire plus dinosaurs. Future season. Jurassic World. Outlander.
I'm fascinated by things not of this time.
He's looking at her. Does he know?
His name is Frank.
Is he in danger?
I believe his future is in doubt.
The bones will give us an answer.
Oh yeah, he could do a bone casting.
There's nothing in here.
Look again, Madonna.
He's having a bit of fun.
How did you do that?
A little sleight of hand. I could
Nice.
not resist. It's a trick I do to amuse the customers. Bring your question to mind and cast them upon the hide.
Clear intentions, Claire. Clear intention. I'm a lot more familiar with shell casting, but what I've read of this, he's the only one that can read it because he has the set, and you tend to imbue or have it tell you a meaning for each particular bone, each side of the bone it lands on, and where in the grid pattern it ends up. So like with a shell, you'll look at, oh, it's up this direction, it's in the front right, and that's how you read them. So it's very personal. I'm intrigued to hear what he has to say. And I kind of wonder if after first meeting her, he may have cast them and figured out she is not from this time period. That's my theory.
I cannot see his fate, but you have no need to worry. You will see him again.
The beginning of the season.
I will see him again.
She's like,
Oui.
what?
That's what the bones say. But for now, you are my concern.
Protection.
For you, Madonna. For protection. It will change color in the presence of poison.
Ah, handy.
Some would call it nature, some would call it magic. I certainly charge more for it when I do, but for you, Madonna, today, there's no charge.
He's a sweetheart. He brings up an interesting point, though. A lot of times there are arguments between what is magic and what is science or mundane. But if you think about it, so many beautiful things in our world, like grapes turning into wine, it's almost like a form of magic. Or chemistry. I can't remember how it works exactly, but I think iodine is involved. You can take a really dark bit of water and toss a chemical in, and it's clear. It looks like magic, but it's not, is it? Because when it comes right down to it, these things exist on their own, whether or not you call it magic or call it science. It just is. And maybe we should stop trying to label it and just use the tools that have been given to us, like this stone, that will hopefully protect Claire and the baby.
She bites everyone but me.
Just like Dexter from Night at the Museum.
The reason I've summoned you here, the situation is quite delicate. I'm with child.
And it's not her husband's.
Then congratulations are in order.
I'm afraid not. My husband and I haven't been intimate in months. The baby is not his.
Poison, really. It will rid you of the child, but
You
it
could
can
die.
also kill you.
Yeah.
But what other choice do I have? He will have our marriage annulled. He could even have me arrested for adultery, or even worse, banish me to a convent.
Convents aren't that bad. I enjoyed my time at them.
Jules can be persuaded that the child is his.
Yeah.
You mean sleep with my husband?
Well, he's not the one that's pregnant, Louise.
But how will I raise a child with a man who is not the father?
Well, the key word is raise. The baby would be alive.
The child is brought up with love.
Yeah. It's the best for all involved.
You won't have to wait long tonight, Sassenach.
Those bite marks.
Aye, well, she's a get a wee bit carried away.
She?
No, it was a different girl entirely.
Who's the different girl entirely? What, that makes it better? Well, I should hope so.
Well, I don't suppose a gently reared young lady such as yourself would be familiar with the term soissons neuf.
I know what 69 is.
So I don't, and I'm not sure I want to Google it. Should I risk that? There are areas of the internet you just don't want to go into. I put Outlander 69, hoping that it would kind of narrow things down. Meant to settle for the 6 and the 9 could go hang. What does that mean? Help me, Reddit. You're my only hope. No, Reddit is confused as well. I feel better about not knowing, though. Apparently I'm not the only one. I'll dare click on one more link. Well, this doesn't help. It just says the French term for 69. So if you know and it's not that bad, just let me know.
So I'm supposed to believe that you got those bites defending your virtue?
Well, I didn't say I wasn't tempted. I wanted to. Badly. Yeah, I was filled with lust.
I think you should stop talking.
I don't think I'm explaining this properly.
No, you're not.
I don't think you are. Because so far the only thing that you've explained is that while you've barely touched me in months, tonight you were driven mad with passion by some whore.
Yes. No, that's the great thing, don't you see? I've tried for so long to find a way back to you, but so I could feel that way again with my wife.
So you had to stir yourself up with a whore before you could bring yourself to be with me.
No, that's not what I was...
We hadn't even talked about babies' names until Duvernay brought it up at your stupid chess game. I feel like I've been going through all of this all on my own.
I'm here. There's this place inside me, a place I think everyone has that they keep to themselves. Maybe it's your soul. But after Wentworth, it was like my fortress had been blown apart. The thing that once lived there was suddenly exposed out in the open. Without shelter, without... That's where I've been ever since, Claire.
What he's describing reminds me a lot of how Frodo tried to explain what carrying the ring was like to Sam in Lord of the Rings. He was alone, naked in the dark with the eye fixed on him. And that's how Sam got to the point of that famous scene where he says, I can't carry it, but I can carry you.
Come on, Mr. Frodo. I can't carry it for you, but I can carry you. Come on!
I feel like Claire's gonna have to be his Sam. It's really brave of him to be this vulnerable with her. Poor Jamie.
Alone. Trying to hide under a blade of grass.
What?
Someone trying to get in. Someone's sneaking in. Get a weapon. It's not Santa Claus. Yes.
I do not usually arrive, sir, without ceremony or at such an unsocial hour.
He's so polite. I have to say, I kind of admire the fact that he snuck over here in the rain and climbed down the roof. My respect for him just went up.
Has your Royal Highness been hurt?
I found myself in a rather embarrassing position at the house of a friend. I had a rare time dodging chimneys, slipping on wet slates, until it occurred to me your house was down the road. She spurns me without warning.
I think it might be Louise, because Claire said, no, you need to sleep with your husband. This is her lover. I'm pretty sure. That complicates things.
It appears to be a bite. An epidemic around here.
Her pet. It bites
The
everyone
monkey.
apart from her.
Yeah, it's Louise.
Ill-tempered, flea-ridden beast.
Charles and Louise.
Never suspected either. We use their affair to our advantage.
No, that would hurt Louise.
And if Charles hasn't heard about the baby by
We
then,
make sure he does right in front of the Duke.
he'll come unhinged.
Yeah, that will work, but Louise is your friend. And she's a little bit flighty, but I think she's a good person. She doesn't deserve this. I'm a little worried about how easily Claire went along with it. Ooh. I loved the era when the centerpiece at a dinner was this beautiful fruit and flowers concoction. I forget when it went out of style. I think the 1930s. But I think we should bring it back. There's something so beautiful about the colorful just explosion of fruit, especially since you can eat it later. So it's practical.
I promise. I'll be home before sunset.
All right. But take Myrta with
Another
you.
hood, I love it.
Fergus, too. Have her home in time to dress for dinner if you expect to eat yourself.
Oh, she's here too.
Did you really not see that she had been crying?
I saw no crying.
That's why you will die with la veuve poignée. Alone with your hand.
Oh, Fergus.
In spite of the crying, she's wearing parfum.
He is very observant.
When Monsieur Forêt is not with us, he serves as His Majesty's Royal Executioner.
Oh.
It's a peculiar calling.
You, madame, are a great deal better than nothing.
Oh.
Thank you.
See, being sent to a convent isn't that bad. It can actually be a genuinely transformative and good experience.
I will never make it.
We'll have to walk. Now.
I am all about Mary's hat right now. That's one of my favorite styles of French hats. Why are you walking so slowly?
That's the one I find most intriguing.
Pick up the pace.
Who is this gentleman?
I think we know.
His name's Randall. At Versailles?
Oh, good, his brother. Oh God, it's Mary. The White Witch. She does look beautiful, though.
She was hurt badly and passed out from the shock. But she'll be all right. But tonight is too important. What we're going to do is we're going to look after this poor girl. Take her up to the guest room where she'll be safe.
Yeah, Randall, you need to stay with her.
She needs some quiet and rest.
I won't leave her side.
Good.
If she wakes up, give her some water or tea. She needs a doctor.
But she has one. You.
This is a terrible situation. Poor Mary. Having to smile to all the guests right now. I couldn't do it.
I love you, Mary. I'll take good care of you.
I can't believe I shipped them, but I kind of do.
And wondering whether he could have orchestrated such violence and then sat calmly across the table from me 2 hours
Oh,
later,
I believe it.
sipping his soup.
I understand. Congratulations are in order for Madame and the Marquis as well.
Why, yes. We are looking forward to the arrival of a little one.
I apologize. I thought...
We haven't formally announced it yet.
I wish you and the Marquis all the happiness in the world.
He seems to be holding together so far.
Of course, the world is not always a happy place.
Never mind.
It's quite unpredictable, really. One day you're happy, and the next, poca miseria.
Oh no, Mary. You can't go wandering right now. Okay, I kind of love these two together. Oh no. If someone comes across this, they're not going to know what is going on. He's just trying to help her. Yeah, the priority here is Mary.
There is no reason to be uncivil.
He's definitely never been to Scotland. So much happened in this episode. I'm still processing some of it. This did a great job of moving the plot along, giving us a lot of new information, but also being one of the more exciting, not necessarily in a good way, episodes this season. Definitely the most action-packed. I really don't think Claire should have left the house on such a crucial day. I understand wanting to get out from underfoot, but there's always a risk going out, especially in this time period. It's interesting that in each season so far, she's always had a warning well ahead of her next time travel jump. Some magic user out there always tells her. So it's interesting to know that when she goes forward to the 1940s again, she knew, which makes that opening sequence that much more interesting. When she stumbled out through the stones and then sees him come into her room. I wondered why she didn't react more. I mean, I think her first comment was something about turning the gramophone or the record player off. I remember wondering why she didn't react to seeing Frank. It was because she knew he was coming because of this episode. So I'm starting to understand now why, other than the shock value, they added that bit in the beginning of her going back home, so that throughout this season, we can be looking for these clues and these bits of foreshadowing. I love how Outlander always treats its audience as if we're intelligent. There were a lot of really dark themes in this particular story, so I'm going to instead talk about some of the costuming, because so far, this is my favorite episode of season 2 for the gowns. I think they've really hit a good stride of the fusion era design for Claire's dresses, and the choice of fabrics was particularly good. I just loved all of them. And the hoods, So as disturbing as the subject matter was, this was an incredibly good episode. But I'm worried about the younger Randall and what this is going to mean for him with the police on their way.